Hi and welcome back to my channel. After a short break due to other obligations, I'm back with some updates. And that's because we have new company at the farm. These little minions were delivered a few days ago, and this marks our first try at broiler farming. Those who have been following us will remember that our first flock of chickens was an improved breed of the indigenous chicken, think Kroilers, which takes about 3 months to mature. After our first flock, with a better understanding of the market, we decided to switch to broilers. This first batch is about 1,100 chicks. One thing you should know is that chicks are very expensive in Burkina Faso because they are mostly imported since the local production is very limited. Each chick costs us about $1.40. I am willing to bet this is one of the highest prices for broiler chicks in Africa. And this is a challenge for profitability. Broilers are usually raised for up to 6 weeks when they reach well over 2 kilograms. However, we might raise them for 4 weeks because we have buyers interested in 4 weeks broilers. Before the chicks arrived, we went through a very precise protocol. First, we set up the barn for brooding. And for this, we just partitioned a smaller quarter with tarps. We also closed off the open sides of the barn with tarps. We then laid the leader. This is a leader that is about 6 centimeters deep enough to absorb the moisture from the chicken manure. Second, we disinfected the entire barn by spraying multiple times. The disinfection started about 2 weeks prior to the scheduled arrival of the chicks. This is probably the most important step before the birds arrive because good biosecurity is important to keep your flock safe and minimize mortality. So you must take this step very, very seriously. Third, we then cleaned and disinfected the feeders and drinkers. Fourth, we mixed the feed needed to feed the flock for 6 weeks. This is important because we can make sure that we have the necessary quantity of feed for the entire production period just in case something happens. For example, last time the motor on the grinder broke down and we had to scramble to fix it in order to mix our feed. After we had all the feed ready, we were ready to receive the chicks. Right when they arrived, we transferred them to the brooding area. Then we gave them some glucose to raise their energy after a long commute to the farm. The chicks were spread out evenly around the brooder, so we know that the temperature was adequate and uniform across the floor. We also proceeded to weigh the chicks, and at a day old, they should weigh about 40 grams, and they did, so that was good. And the last thing we did on the last day was to feed them. So in summary, before the chicks arrived, we prepared the brooding area by partitioning a small quarter within the barn. We laid the leader and then disinfected the chicken barn. We did this multiple times in the span of 2 weeks. We also cleaned and disinfected the drinkers and feeders. Finally, we prepared and stored all the feed we need to feed the flock for 6 weeks. We are very excited about this new adventure at the farm. Stay tuned for more updates about how the flock progresses.